welcome back to our channel. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
So we're gonna be doing these things on Fridays where we share our stories, your stories, their stories, everyone's stories. All right. So we're gonna have different guests on Fridays, and
our first guest is a very, very close friend of ours. We love her. She is an amazing artist, an amazing dancer, an amazing human being. And we are just so excited to have you guys hear from her.
Yes, listen to what she has to say because she has a lot that you can learn from, that anybody can learn from. I've definitely learned so much from her.
Same.
And she's great. So without further ado,
we have
Jessaire.
Hi guys. So I was asked to share my redemption story with you all. I want to share a quick poem that I wrote that I feel really goes with it well. So my redemption story is that of learning how to be a daughter after being broken as a child, and basically allowing God to pick up the pieces that I felt my family had made me to be and just formed me as the daughter that He originally intended me to be. So I'm going to share with you guys a poem that I wrote. It's called It Takes a Village. It takes a village to raise a child, but what do you do if everyone in your village is confused about how to do so? When everyone in the village is a child themselves and the two village elders are dazed and confused. It takes a village to raise a child, but what happens when that child grows up broken? When the villagers can only offer broken bits of themselves and the child has to force pieces from different puzzles together to create itself. It takes a village to raise a child, but the child ends up raising the village when she carries their struggles on her back and their pain in her heart. It takes a village to raise a child, but she decided she had to leave her village behind her when the weight finally completely shattered her to the ground and she had to put herself together again. It takes a village to raise a child, but they didn't know they were hurting me when they gave up too easy or pushed me too hard and then expected me to be better while tearing me apart. It takes a village to raise a child, but was I ever a child to begin with when I was forced to grow up quickly and take on the responsibility of caretaker? It takes a village to raise a child, but I had to leave mine to learn that I was a daughter when I found whole parts of myself in the Father and He built me up from scratch again. It takes a village to raise a child, and sometimes they are not equipped enough for us. When they are a mess, that is all they can offer, but we can be so much more. It takes a village to raise a child, and we are responsible for making a village worthy of a child. When we choose to be better than what we had, but understand that we can never be perfect. It takes a village to raise a child, and it's okay if your village was not the best. When you let the Father in, He can fix all your broken bits, but it's up to you to let Him in. Now, to elaborate on what all of that means to me is that when I was younger, a lot of things happened in my family that I ended up with a lot of younger siblings, and I lived with my single mother who was also handicapped. My mother is legally blind. She doesn't really see very well. She can still see, but not as much as you and I. And she basically couldn't give us very much because on top of that, my mother was a teen mom, and then she ended up with 6 kids. There was a lot of us. It was a lot of pressure. I was the oldest daughter. My brother was always with my grandmother, so he never really lived with us. So it was the weight of helping out, the weight of caretaker kind of fell on me. And as my sister started to come, I started taking on more and more responsibility, and then as we found out about my mother's disability, it became even harder. And I sacrificed a lot of my youth, my childhood, which I never really felt that I really had. I never felt like I was ever really truly a kid because I was always helping. I was always doing something to help my mom, or always taking on some other responsibility that didn't really belong to me. And the thing with that is that I felt like I had to. I felt like I needed to be this person in my family, because if not, then I wasn't worthy of being a daughter in my house. I wasn't worthy of my mother's love. I wasn't worthy of my grandmother's love or my sister's love. I wasn't worthy enough if I wasn't actively doing something to earn their love. And I literally took on the weight of so many people, of so many burdens, of so much hurt and so much pain. And there were so many generational things that were just continuing on in my family, like single mothers, families, like children by different parents. These are all things that were constantly passed on. Mothers who didn't know how to be mothers, fathers who didn't know how to be fathers. And I carried all of this in me. And it broke so much of what God had intended me to be. So much of what a child is supposed to be. Like I didn't really have this sort of innocence as a child. Well, not really, because I had to learn to be mature. I had to learn to get over things. I couldn't tantrum like my sisters could. I couldn't hang out in high school like all the rest of my friends did. Like I got to, but not as much, because I had to go home and I had to go cook for my sisters, or I had to go clean, or I had to help them with their homework, or it was just a lot of things that just fell on me. And when I came to God, when I found him, when he found me, I was this broken thing on the floor that felt that I obviously, like, I had to earn his love too somehow, because that's what I was used to. I had to work, I had to take on people's burdens, I had to do this, that, and the third. So yeah, when I came to church, I felt like I had to earn God's love, and that just wasn't the case. God isn't he's not somebody that he requires you to service him. He just wants you to love him, and he just wants to love you. And that's something that it took me a good while to really understand. And it took certain people coming in my life and being like, get it together, because that's not the way that God, like, it's just not, that's just not the way things work. Like, there was so much fear and so much just preconceived things in my mind that God had to break. And honestly, it sucked a lot and it hurt a lot, but thankfully our God he's not somebody who makes you suffer. He's not somebody, that's not his intention. And he always places specific people in your life to help you get through things. He puts specific people on your path for you, and I'm very thankful for my friends. I'm very thankful for John and Emily. I'm very thankful for the people that God has placed in my life to come up to me and be like, you know what, this part in your heart, this is a slave, and this is a stupid little slave. That's what I call it, that little mindset. I called it the stupid little slave. And she has no place, because as a daughter of a king, I am a princess and a queen, and nowhere in the description of princess or queen is their slave, is their, it doesn't work. They don't match. So I had to learn that I wasn't a slave. I had to learn that I didn't have to work to earn his love. Yes, I serve him, and yes, I give him everything in me, but it's not because I have to. It's because I love him that much, that I just genuinely want to give that to him, that I genuinely want to just lay my life at his feet and give everything that I am to him. And it's not something that I feel is required of me. I don't feel like I'm not worthy of his love anymore, because quite frankly, none of us really are. But you have to understand that that doesn't matter, because his love is so reckless and so crazy and so beyond our understanding that he loves us anyways. That it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what anyone told you, it doesn't matter what you didn't have or what you did have as a child, but you are his child. You are his precious child that he just loves and wants to spend time with. And those were things that were so hard for me. I had to learn intimacy. I had to learn to like myself. I had to learn that my value doesn't come from the people around me. I had to learn that, yes, my parents raised me, and yes, they brought me into this earth, but the things that they carry, I don't have to carry. I don't have to carry generational curses. I don't have to carry the names that they called me. I don't have to carry their burdens. I'm not them. I'm me. I am a daughter. I am a princess. I am a queen. I have a crown that the Lord has placed on my head. And I've worked so hard. Me and God have both worked so hard to get here that it's amazing when to really look back and realize that the me from like 5 years ago was depressed and full of anxiety and ready to kill herself, and the me today is so thankful to be alive, and I feel so happy. Like, I'm not gonna tell you that things aren't still hard sometimes and that I don't struggle, because I do, but I do it knowing that there is a greater purpose, that there are promises over my life that in order to come to pass, I have to go through these things. I have to grow. I have to change all the things that I was afraid of. But fear doesn't hold me back anymore. This slave doesn't hold me back anymore. This burden doesn't hold me back anymore. The village that I was born in no longer holds me back. My village is God and the people that He's placed around me now. And it's my friends and it's the family that I have now. And those are the people that help build me, and those are the people that help mold me. And more importantly, I do it on knowing that no matter what happens, no matter when I fall or when I trip, because I am going to fall and trip and stumble and throw tantrums sometimes, but I'll get back up, knowing that regardless of all of that, He still loves me, and that I'm walking more into my queendom every day, and just leaving that slave farther and farther behind, because every day that passes, I get farther from the slave and closer into the kingdom, and it's truly a beautiful and amazing thing that I never really thought was gonna happen for me. And I hope that you guys can all experience that, what it really means to be a child of God, what it means to throw away all the things all the burdens, all the weight, because honestly, life without carrying those without the weight of mountains is so much better, because then you're just free and you're just with Him and you're just happy. You are known and loved. Adventure awaits your yes. And
Every day's a Sunday. Thank you so much, Jessaire. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for sharing your story with us, with the world. And guys, stay tuned for next video.
Yes, we're so excited to have more people featured and for you guys to hear their stories as well.
Yes, so guys, we love y'all.
We love you, and remember that your yesterday can change someone's tomorrow.